Okay, welcome back to members of 121 Community Church in Grapevine, Texas, and our ongoing study in Metaphysics by Borden Parker Bowne. We're going to take a look at our final lesson in this great study, which was published in 1882. We're going to take a look at pages 488 to 531 on the closing verified methodology. He closes out his manuscript by reasserting a verified methodology. Let's begin by looking at block 1 and taking a look at a priorism and empiricism. And Bowne tells us that there are 4 epistemological theories. The intuitionists state that there is a power of mental insight. The a priorists say that to know is possible in advance of an experience. Transcendentalists say that we transcend experience to acquire the universal. And empiricists say that experience is the sole source of knowledge, which is Bowne's position. There are 2 critical areas that Bowne wants to address. He says the forms of intellect and the forms of experience have to be kept separate, and we have to define the ultimate warrant for our knowledge. The cause and ground of our belief. The cause of our belief is a psychological question. The ground of our belief is a philosophical question. But for Bowne, within perception, all knowledge must fall under interaction. Interaction is the foundation of perception. The world in its interaction with a subject produces thought and feeling and world vision. And by world vision, he means it's a world vision discoverable through phenomenology. So if you look at note 2, knowledge through interaction, the outer world is reached through a corresponding world within. The genesis of belief is a psychological question. The warrant of belief is a philosophical question. We must posit the reality of the soul as a presupposition. Each mind is a new factor within system, says Bowne. So for Bowne, world interaction with subject and the reality of the soul equals 2 orders of mental reaction. 2 orders of mental reaction. And they are, number 1, sensation equals the first order mental reaction against external action, creating the sensitive state. But then, rational sign formation takes place as a higher order mental reaction against the sensitive state to create state of mind. So sensation leads to sensitive state, leads to state of mind. And that leads to the mental side of epistemology in block 2, where we consider reason, judgment, and value. Reason, judgment, and value. And in note 1, Bowne says that real substance equals the objective ground and subject of qualities. The concepts of cause and substance are created in the mind by rationalization of experience. Mind gives its object the forms of substance and the form of quality. Forms of identity and continuity are added to the sensitive state by the mind. Then rationalization of sensitive state applies the following 4 categories of quality, identity, continuity, and space. So there is your progression. Identity and continuity can be acquired in the sensitive state. But we have to move on to the state of mind, and state of mind applies categories of quality, identity, continuity, and space all together through rationalization. So we take a look at determining the form of existence. We enlist the faculty of judgment. By association, we recall the past. Judgment forms associations and disassociations, and judgment is the association of sensitive states, says Bowne. It's an active mental process. It's a self-determining process. So note 3, applying categories plus determining the form equals a posited self-determination of system. We reach that positing of a self-determined system. Mind forms conjunctions of categories with concepts. We discover an order of reason, a teleology. Reason orders the sensitive states of mind, and the ordering enlists the mind's determining principles, and those have been progressively acquired as we mature through dialectic. That brings us to self-determination and value, which is critical for Bowne. There is psychological conditioning of our system. It becomes a holding forth of a system of objects as distinct in thought, meaning that it is something that can be posited as a causal unit. And this is placed clearly before the mind, and this step is called the assisting representative power of mind. It's necessary before positing the real. It is the moment of insight. Thought system becomes conditioned for recognition. We hold it up at the forefront of our mind as a realm of positing object, and it is shaped and conditioned for recognition by others. We seek to imprint external reality. We seek to imprint other finite minds. So it's conditioned for recognition. That leads us to block 3 on the closing verified axioms, because Bowne is wrapping up his entire manuscript here. So we look at the outline of the real and its content. The end of system is that which justifies a system. It is eschatologically justified by the what ought to be. We have formed an outline of the real within which all specific content must fall, and content of system is acquired through observation and experimental working through dialectic. He has 3 conclusive axioms. Finite things coexist in interaction and are fully dependent on the unpicturable infinite. Philosophy is only possible with a theistic basis, and the rule of system is a reflection of the mind's own positing, the realm of the real, the posited realm of the real. That is that which is imprinted on external reality. It becomes rule of system. Now, ground of certainty lies in conviction for Bowne. State of mind is the base of conviction. It becomes our maturing certainty of truth. Moral conviction influences every single aspect of phenomenology and every single aspect of system. Wisdom of the heart is the warrant of our world vision. Wisdom of the heart is the warrant of our world vision, period. But key for this lesson is to realize that for Bowne, his system is phenomenology and it is empiricism. And it is, in closing those 3 axioms of Block 3, Note 2, that finite things coexist in interaction and that all content is dependent on the unpicturable infinite. And philosophy and theology are only possible with a theistic basis. The rule of system is the realm of the real, which is the realm of the mind's own positing. Our posited sign model becomes rule of system, and that is influenced by the infinite, in other words, the living God and the Holy Spirit, and his system is a depiction of movement of spirit. That is what Bowne is all about. As a theologian, as a Methodist theologian, he was defining and articulating the movement of spirit. And it was depicted through phenomenology, cosmology, and a final epistemology, which led us to state of mind. State of mind is critical. That's the foundation of conviction. State of mind is where we have our motivational base for all that we do as believers. That imprints the way that we think. It imprints the way that we shape our notions of the true. It imprints the way that we form system, and it imprints our praxis of ministry. So state of mind becomes critical. That's a maturing, dynamic state of mind moving toward certainty of truth. So a recall triad would almost be basically block 3, note 2. It's going to be the 3 conclusive axioms. It's going to be interaction, theistic basis, and state of mind as posited reality. That would be your triad that encapsulates the lesson. Interaction as dependent on the incarnate infinite, an epistemology that is theistic based, and a rule of system which is the realm of the real, which is the realm of the mind's own positing. It's all about conviction. It's all about wisdom of the heart, or Sophia wisdom. Not just gnosis wisdom, but Sophia wisdom that informs gnosis wisdom, that informs phronesis and praxis. So you move from Sophia wisdom of the heart to gnosis wisdom of the mind that forms system, to phronesis practical wisdom of positing, to praxis as wisdom of ministry and action and reflection. So it's a beautiful and a powerful conclusion. It takes us to the end of the book, and I think our next project is going to be taking up one more manuscript by Edgar Sheffield Brightman. So that wraps up Metaphysics by Borden Parker Bowne, published in 1882.